This is TWiT.
Jeremy, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Scott. I always enjoy hearing you on Leo's show.
Oh, thanks.
I am a cord cutter, and I'm dependent on an over-the-air digital antenna.
Mm-hmm.
I also live in an apartment in Costa Mesa, California, so I'm 35 miles from the nexus of over-the-air signals, Mount Wilson, California.
Mm-hmm.
And I have bought what I thought was a good quality indoor over-the-air antenna.
Mm.
It looks like the infinity sign vertically, and it's got like a T-bar on top of it, and a sort of a framework of metal.
Who made it?
Antennas Direct.
Oh, that was a distributor or the retailer.
Okay.
It might be a Mohu or a Weingard or something like that. Anyway, go ahead.
Have anybody else's name on it. But the bottom line is it works great on UHF, which in the LA market includes channels 2 through 5 since the digital conversion. Those are now broadcasting on UHF.
Yep.
But 7 through 13, totally gone. And I've been on antennaweb.com.
Good. That's my first suggestion.
I've tried to align it. I tried to make sure all the connections are tight.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, it works beautifully for the UHF. I got on the phone to the antenna distributor, and they said, well, the VHF section of that is a 30-mile antenna, and you're 35 miles away.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'm like Science Theater. I'm a fringy.
Yes, indeed, you are. I'm afraid so.
So what do I do? What's the most efficient,
that's tough,
effective way to solve this problem?
You're in an apartment building, so I don't know. Can you put a rooftop antenna?
No, not at all. Only the small satellite dishes are allowed here. No other antenna.
Okay. Do you have a window that actually faces in the direction of Mount Wilson, which would be, in your case, roughly east?
Yeah, I'm lucky enough that there's a sliding glass door, and it seems to make no difference if I open the door or the screen.
That's not what I was at. I was not thinking about opening the door. I was just thinking about a lot of these antennas. Is this a stand-mounted tabletop type antenna or something you actually attach to the wall or the window?
It has brackets that you could attach to the wall of the window, but I have it sitting on top of a subwoofer right now. Have you tried putting that antenna right next to the sliding glass door that's facing east? I have not. That plays havoc with the decor of the room. Just while I'm watching.
Yeah. Well, that would be the only thing I could recommend. The other thing would be possibly an amplified antenna. Although if the antenna is only catching 30 miles and the transmitter's 35 miles away, it's going to be amplifying noise. So there might not be any advantage to getting an amplified antenna at that point.
Right. They make larger versions, but again, that plays havoc with the decor. I have a young lady visitor here that makes them think I'm even more of a geek than I am.
Than you already are. I think that's the only solution you're going to have. Now, there is one other solution that really has nothing to do at all with over the air. You could abandon that antenna entirely if you went for live TV streaming. And there are 4 services now that I know of that do that. PlayStation Vue, DirecTV Now, Sling TV, and Hulu TV. And I would go do some research on those to find out which, and some of them at least 2 of them, I can't remember which ones at the top of my head, do local channels as well. And it sounds to me like you're interested in local channels.
Yes, I am interested in local channels.
So I would go look at those 4 services, and they all have different packages. They not only, if they have local channels, those are the ones you want to look at, but they also have things like Discovery and Learning Channel and other stuff like that in different packages, right? So you'll have the low-cost package will have fewer channels, and then as you move up in price, and they cost on the order of, as I recall, $50 up to $100, something along those lines per month. It ain't cheap.
That's right, back to the cable world.
It really is. Yeah, I agree. But it's streaming.
Okay.
And if your antenna doesn't work, you're going to have to do something.
Right.
And in the chat room, I've seen here already that signal boosters might be a good idea. Lumpy says I have a signal booster to get my channels that are a longer distance away. Mike Heiss, my good friend who hangs out in the chat room and is very, very knowledgeable. Let's see. I have what the caller is talking about. He says Antennas Direct is the manufacturer. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Yep. My suggestion: get a small amp, VHF here. Really touchy for some channels. Okay. So an antenna amplifier might be something worth looking into.
Okay.
And particularly, these live streaming services, you're back to paying something.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing, though. Is there a signal in there that's tiny that's just not making it to the TV picture, or is it noise, like you say? That's the question. Ultra Aqua is saying, I'm doing the same thing using a Philips fin-shaped antenna. Works great, about $40. Comes with an amp with the cable assembly. Okay. So there you go. A couple people are reminding me also YouTube TV. Sorry? Fin, T-H-I-N? Fin, as in a shark fin. Fin, okay. And made by Philips. Okay. Fin-shaped antenna. I would suggest probably your best bet is to look for an antenna that has an amplifier built in. And that may, now I'm seeing in the chat room some people are doing the same thing. Web 4087 says DirecTV Now does provide local channels, so that is another option for you. I had cable, and I was spending over $100 a month and barely watching it, so free buying the one-time cost of the antenna is very, very tempting. I think the thing to do is to find an antenna that has a longer range, ultimately. Lawn Dog in the chat room is agreeing with me. If you have no signal or a weak signal and you install an amplifier, all you're doing is amplifying the noise. That's what you said, yeah. So you have to get an antenna that can reach out farther. Okay. I think that would be the thing to start with. And maybe to look at this Philips Fin. Okay, Philips Fin. Yep. Okay, thanks. Oh, one quick question. How do I keep alkaline batteries from destroying my remotes? Change them regularly. Like what? Check them the first of every month? Something like that, yeah. Okay. They leak. They tend to leak, right? You get this crud around them. What's that about? You can ruin something that's... You really can, believe me. I've ruined plenty of remotes that way myself. You forget about it. It's so easy. You just, you have your remote, it's sitting there, it works fine, and then suddenly it doesn't. And you think, oh, maybe I need to change the batteries. And you open up the battery case, and it's full of that crud. Right. And you just go, ugh. So... I would check. I don't think every month you probably need to check, but maybe every 6 months or 4 months, maybe three or four times a year, maybe something like that, if you can remember. I know, that's a problem. It's a real problem, isn't it? Right, it is. Yeah. All right. Hey, thanks for the call. Thank you so much, Scott. All right.